This conference will now be recorded.
So the codes what we are going to learn over here is, we call it as full stack Java. Full stack Java. And in this full stack Java, we'll be going with the contents like initially we go with core Java. Even we call it as Java SC. Stands for Standard Edition. Stands for what? Standard Edition. And the main use is used to develop standalone or desktop applications. Standalone or desktop applications. So the examples of desktop applications like calculator, paint, notepad, MS Office, all this comes under desktop. So once we install, we need not connect to other system to run that application. They are standalone or desktop applications. The next one what we go here is web technologies. Web technologies, even we call it as UI design, user interface design, where we'll be learning the concepts like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript, XML, JSON, and Angular. So these are the web technologies what we'll be discussing in our course. Then once we complete these web technologies, we'll move to the next one, advanced Java. Even we call it as Java EE, stands for Enterprise Edition. And the main use is used to develop web applications. It's for web applications. Now, the examples of web applications like Amazon, Flipkart, Book My Show, Make My Trip, all these are web applications. The banking applications like accessbank.com, citibank.com, all these are web applications. The next and very, very important category of our course, frameworks. Frameworks. Okay. Here we are going to learn two important frameworks like Hibernate framework. Then we go with the Spring framework. So before we go with Spring framework, we'll be learning web services. Then under Spring framework, we'll be learning the modules like Spring Core or Bean module. Then we go with Spring DAO module, very, very important one. If you are good with the DAO, 80% of the project is completed. Where we go with submodules like Spring JDBC module, Spring ORM module, where we integrate with Hibernate. Then Spring data module. Then we go with the next one, Spring MVC module. This is also very, very important, used to develop web applications. It's for web applications. Then Spring REST module, used to develop REST APIs. Right. Then we'll be going with microservices. And during our course, we'll be learning some real-time tools, and we'll be finally going with a project. So in the yesterday's class, I've elaborated all these things. It's just a demo part. Just I've given more detail about this. However, I'll be sharing the recording. And the duration of our course will go with the maximum 60 hours. Maximum. Okay, it may go with even sometimes 50 hours also. Depends on how you people take. Then the time is Monday to Friday. The time is what? Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. IST. Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. IST, and the class will go for maximum 1 hour. The class will go for maximum 1 hour. And the people who are in US or Canada, remember, the people who are in US or Canada, it will be Sunday to Thursday. Take care of this. So for you, it will be Thursday to you, for you. For me, it is Friday. So for you, it will be Sunday to Thursday. So next class for you, it will be Sunday. And take care of your time zone. Okay. and the class is getting recorded. This recording will be shared to you after the class. Clear everyone? Any questions up to here?
No, Raj, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, Parth.
Yeah, like where will you get this recording? Where will you get this?
Yeah, at the end, I'll be sharing my email ID to that you can share it. If you send a test mail, I'll be taking it. Yeah, how to get recording, I'll explain at the last. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Raj, I got a question for you. So, are we covering Hibernate and Spring Framework, particular in a 60-hour course? Just asking.
Yeah, we can do it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we can complete because I'll be making a proper base for you internally with Core Java. When you are good with Core Java, understanding remaining topics will be very, very easy for us. Okay, so this is the base. Yeah, we can complete after. So many batches. Since 8 years I'm doing this, and the people are working in a good position. So don't worry, we can easily complete it. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, so many people will have this question like whether we can able to complete it or not, but we can complete, but you should have practice from your end also. Okay, if you do good practice from your end, then only we can become expert. Just my training will not be sufficient. Okay, just attending my classes and doing only the task what I've given, that won't be sufficient for you to be settled. You need to do from your end also. Based on my guidance, you have to work from your end also. Then only we'll become expert in this subject. Right? Clear, Supriya, for you?
Yeah, clear, sir.
Right. So don't worry at all. We'll be discussing everything. Looks bigger when we see the topics. It looks bigger, but as we enter, it will be very small for us. Right. Today, let us move to the next one. Programming concepts. So before we enter into any programming language like C, C++, Java, .NET, Python, we should have some basic idea on programming concepts. Then entering into the language will be very easy for us. So before we enter into these programming concepts, let us understand the term first. What is program? We are going to write the programs. First of all, what is a program? So can anyone say what is a program?
Set of rules.
Set of?
A set of rules.
Not the rules. We should not say rules. We should say statements. Set of statements. Rules are like syntax. Rules are like grammar. We have to say a program is a set of statements. Set of statements, or you can even say instructions. Instructions to perform a task. To perform a task. So what do you mean by task here? Like finding area of a rectangle, finding total marks of a student, finding net salary of an employee, adding a book into the library, booking a movie ticket, depositing an amount in the bank, checking balance of an account, fund transfer, pay bills. All these are what? Task. To perform this task, we write a program. Right? Here we are writing some more terms. When you are writing a program, we make use of some of the concepts over there. That is one of the thing is like comment. Comment. So what is comment is like, whenever you are writing a program, we need to document your program. The need of documenting is like, you can explain who is writing the program, on which date you are writing the program, and what is the purpose of the program, more elaboration, so that even yourself or someone sees your program, they should be able to understand your program in an easy way. So to do that document, we go for this comments. You can say comments are used to document a program. Comments are used to document a program which is ignored by the programming language. Which is ignored by the programming language. Okay. There. And we are in two types of comments. So when you take the rules of language like C, C++, Java.NET, these four programming languages follows almost same syntaxes. So whatever I am discussing now, these programming concepts, it will be maximum same in four programming languages like C, C++, Java.NET. And I'll go with more of Java syntaxes here. Then we are in two types of comments. They are / is for single line comment, and /* and end with again / is for multi-line comment. Multi-line comment. When we go for // like example, you can say / to find area of a rectangle. This is for single line. And example for multi-line is like /* will write to find total marks and average marks of a student. So this is for multi-line comment. Comment is mainly what? To elaborate about your program, what you are doing in the program, mainly to document, we go for these comments. The next term here is keyword. Keyword. The meaning of keyword is like, whenever we take a programming language, there will be some words which are understood by language directly. The words are understood automatically by your language. Those words we call it as keywords. Okay, then you can say a keyword is a reserved word. A keyword is a reserved word whose meaning is known to the programming language directly. So the language can understand these words automatically. Those words we call it as keywords. Some of the examples of keywords are like public, private, class, if, else, while, do, for, int, float, like this. These are some of the examples of keywords where the language can understand these words automatically. Right? Just a second. The next term here is variable. Next term is variable. So the meaning of variable is like, whenever you want to store some data, whenever we want to store some data, like example age, we require some memory space to hold the data. If you want to store some name, we require some memory space to store the data. If you want to store something like height, we require some memory space to store the data. So the name what we are giving to the memory space, so the names what we give, these names only we call variables. So in this age, name, height are variables. You can see a variable is an identifier which allocates which allocates some memory space. Examples of variables like age, name, salary, customer name, student marks, like this. These are the examples of variable names. Mainly use it to forward to hold the data. The next important one, data type. The meaning of data type is like once you allocate memory space for variable, what type of data you are going to store in the variable. Like for example, if you say age, we'll store a numeric value like 20 without any decimal point. So a numeric value without any decimal point, we call it as integer. Data type. So when you say name, we go with some collection of characters, some alphabets, then we call it as a string. Collection of characters, we call it as string. Right? Then height, we store some value like 5.9. So when you are having a numeric value with a decimal point, we call it as float. So the type of data what you are storing in variable, that we call it as data type. So how to define a data type is type of data the variable holds is called as data type. Okay. Then the examples of data types are like int, float, double, char, string, like this. These are some of the examples of data types. So when we enter into Java now, again we'll be discussing all these concepts using Java technology. Much more elaboration there I'm going to do once again. Yeah, float and double, the difference as a basic idea now, Shiva. Both are for floating type, means we can store a value with a decimal point, and the main difference is range. Range means in double we can store a bigger value than float. So what is range? Everything I'll be discussing much more elaboration when we come to basics of Java. Okay, Shiva. For now, remember in double we can store a bigger value than float. That's the difference for now. Okay. Right. Now the next one, declaration of variable. This is important. Declaration of variable. So why we need to declare variable is to allocate memory space for variable. Without allocating memory space for variable, we cannot store the data. So in order to allocate memory space for variable, we need to declare it. So in order to allocate memory space for variable, we need to declare the variable. The syntax is, the meaning of syntax is rules of a language. So like we are having grammatical rules, similar way in programming we call syntax. The syntax is, we go with the data type, then variables, variable 1 comma variable 2 comma, like that, variable and end with semicolon. Like example, we'll say int a comma b. A and b are what type of variables? Integer, means in a and b we can store integer values. Character c, float f, like this. So when you say int a comma b, it's going to allocate memory space for a variable and it's going to allocate memory space for b variable. When you say character c, it's going to allocate memory space for character c. Similar way for float f. So once it allocate memory space, then only we can store the data in the allocated space. That is the need of going for declaration of variable. Without declaring variable, we cannot use the variable. The next and important term here is method or function. Method or function. So in Java we call method, and in C++ we call them as functions. Both are same only. You can say, you can define like a method is a subprogram. A method is a subprogram which is used to do a specific task. Method is what? It's a subprogram which is used to do a specific task. Now, like example, we want to find area of a rectangle. What we want to do? We want to find what? Area of a rectangle. So when you want to find area of a rectangle, we are going with a method name area rect. The method name is what? See, area rect. So if you feel somewhat complex related to method, don't worry too much today. We'll be going with a lot of examples again. So whenever you go with a method, we take the method name like XYZ and we end with parenthesis. When you see parenthesis, that indicate it's a method. Now, in order to find area of a rectangle and misroute, so we have to go with open and close curly braces. So what is the use of this open and close curly braces? Where we are beginning the method and where the method is ended, where the method is closed. So to represent scope, how many lines of code are present under that method, to represent that scope, we use curly braces. Then this is the way how method looks. Then in order to find area of a rectangle, what data do we require?
Length and breadth.
First, we need a variable.
Yeah, what data we require? We require length and breadth, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we require length and breadth. So the data what we require to perform the task, that we have to pass in between arguments like this, int length, comma int breadth. We have to mention with the data type. So length is of type integer, breadth is of type integer. And what is the formula to find area? Area equal to
Length into breadth.
right, very good. Length into breadth will give the area. Now in this we are using a variable area, but we did not declare it. So without declaring, it won't allocate memory space. So goes with error. We cannot store data into area. So how to declare? We have to mention the data type and the variable name. Now it is going to allocate memory for area. Then we can store the value. Length into breadth will be stored in area. Now, so this we call defining the method. This we call defining the method. Now let us call the method. Calling the method. So how to call the method is like this: area rect, and we pass here 10, 5. We pass here 10, 5, and we have to end with semicolon. We have to end with what? Semicolon. Right? There. Now once we say area rect 10, 5, 10 will go and store into length, and 5 will come and store into breadth. 5 will come and store into breadth. Then what will be the value of area now?
$50.
50, right? The value of area is what now? 50. This 50, I want to give it outside of your method. So whatever the result we are getting, this 50, I want to give it back to this method again. So the output I want to give it back. So how to do that one is by using a keyword return. By using a keyword return and say area here. So return area. So what is going to happen now? This 50 will come and store into this method. Now I can store it into some other variable like int area equal to, then print this area. So when you print this area, it's going to print what for us? 50. So here you are calling the method. It will jump to the method. The value of area will be 50. This, when you say return area, that 50 will come and store into this method, which I'm assigning to area. So when I print area, it is 50. And in this one, this length and breadth, we call them as arguments. Length and breadth are arguments given to the method. Even we call them as parameters. Right? Now, very, very important point. The value, whatever you are returning here, area, this is what data type. What is the data type of area?
Integer.
Integer, right? The data type of area is what? Say integer. So before the method name, we have to mention the data type what you are returning. Before the method name, we have to mention the data type what you are returning. This mentioning data type before method name, this we call it as return type. This we call it as what? A return type. Okay, this we call return type. So for this example, what is the return type of area rect method? The return type of area rect method is integer. The return type is integer. Now if you take the same method, instead of returning, I don't want to give this area outside of your method. I don't want to give this area outside of your method. We want to print here only. We want to print this area here only. So if you are not giving any value outside of your method, that means you are not returning anything. Then we have to use a keyword here, void. So void means no return type. No return type means you are not giving any value outside of your method. Right? Got it up here? Got some basic idea how the method looks or function looks?
Yes, sir.
Right? Just a basic terms only we have learned today. Okay. However, I'm going to use all these terms so many times in our classes, so it will become like ABCs for you. These are all nothing for us finally. Okay. As a beginner, we may feel some complex if you are totally new to this IT background. So we feel something like new, but don't worry. As we keep on using, it will become nothing for us finally. Okay. And don't worry if you are any from non-IT background. So don't worry that I'm non-IT background, whether I can able to succeed or not. Don't worry that part at all. Okay. So everyone can enter into IT background. Okay. Even I've trained the people who are in 7th class, 8th class. Okay. Some based on some request. I've trained those people and they are doing much more better. Okay. Than IT people. Okay. Don't worry. Don't go with your background. Just concentrate on this topic and you need to do more practice. If you do more practice, whatever the background it may be, then only you can understand the topics very easily. Right? So that's about for today. And in the next class, we'll be going with Java introduction. Remember, next class will be on Monday, that is 18th July at 7 AM IST. Okay, for US or Canada, Sunday evening. Remember, Sunday evening. Make a note of this properly. Okay, it will be Sunday evening. Don't miss out, where I'm going to start off with Java introduction. Okay, and whatever the GoToMeeting link you are having, you can use the same link to join for next week also. Right?